So the other day I was going through this drawer of bicycle parts that I collected over the years, and I came across this Sram T3 hub that for some reason is already opened up. Not sure if I did this. I have no memory about it. But I had a problem with a Sachs 3-speed hub the other day. So in order to make myself a bit more familiar with this hub, I think we should take this one apart. I placed the hub in a vise, and the first thing I try to do is screw this cap back on. But I don't believe this is a thread, so I cannot screw this cap back on, and it doesn't feel like there's any thread on the inside. Makes me wonder how this thing came apart. Maybe originally this was a pressed fit, not sure. Anyway, I can see a spring here. Actually, I can see 2 springs, and the other one you can see also on this side, just like a Sturmey archer hub, almost like a Sturmey archer hub. There's also a cage with balls here. There's one missing, although this space here is wider than a single ball bearing. That's kind of weird. There's another one of those gaps. Huh. If it's symmetrical, there should be 3. Doesn't really matter. I think I will try and pry off this circlet first. And it's always difficult to do on camera. Let's see if I can launch this thing into the lower Earth orbit. No, I got it in my sleeve. Let's remove the indicator pin. Now I think this is a dust cover. And there's definitely no thread on the inside. Just a whole lot of dirt. Okay, a lock nut. I guess this piece sits on top of the spring. I don't know where this hub came from, or if someone, perhaps me, has had this hub apart. So maybe it is all assembled wrongly. Here's the driver and the spring, and there's a cage with balls in there. Also one missing. Okay, now I should be able to take off this ball cage. And yeah, there are 3 spaces. So I guess I don't think any of the ball bearings are missing. So here are the bits that I took off the hub so far. There's this dust cover, a driver and the spring that was underneath the driver, and the cage with ball bearings. There's another little spring, smaller spring, with some sort of cap on top, and there's this lock nut and this circlip. Alright, let's take out some more parts. I failed to see how this dust cover or cap was mounted onto the hub shell without any thread. It's also rather loose, so that would make a press fit difficult. It's not damaged, so it hasn't been pried off with a screwdriver. So yeah, how did this go together? I have no idea. The insides of this hub look rather dirty. There's some rust, but there's still some grease. And this spring was sitting here, and on top was the driver, and it is splined, and it connects to these splines on this. Well, I think it's the clutch. Is it? Yeah. I cannot pull it out because I think there's some sort of pin through the axle. And just for my own information, this is where the cage with balls was sitting. Let's see. I can see the sun gear, and it is not fixed to the axle. That kind of surprises me. There is something in here that needs to come out. Yeah, there it is. Not sure if you can see this on camera. Well, not really, but it's coming out on this side through this hole in the driver or clutch. And now, well, I cannot take it out. Maybe I can move the clutch up now. Yeah, now I can take it up. There it is. A little flat piece of flat and round. And now this can come off. Yeah, there it is. I think. It's the ring gear. And also the sun gear, maybe. Here, that does look like a sun gear. It's rather big compared to a Sturmey Archer. Anyway, let's take it out. So here's that piece that I just took out. It's the ring gear, and there are some pawls here, some clickety-click pawls, and they are being held in place with a circlip. That's nice. And I don't believe I can take off this part. It's also very dirty. I think that's dirty black grease. Not sure if I can disassemble this piece any further. Sure, I could take off the pawls, but why bother? And just for your information, this here is not the sun gear. I've already seen the sun gear, and it is still fixed to the axle, just like a Sturmey Archer hub. Alright, now we can continue this disassembly. So I placed the hub at an angle in the vise, That way the camera can take a look inside. And I'm not sure if you can see this, but there's the sun gear. And now I'm going to try and see if I can take off the hub shell. Yeah, that's not possible. It probably has to come out through the other side. Well, I had to get some pliers. Maybe I can just take off this. I think it's the planet gear assembly. It feels stuck. It's not going to come out. So I think I have to go in through the other side. So I flipped the hub in the vise, and I think if I remove this cone and this other piece that is screwed on the axle, not sure what it is, but if I remove this, I think I should be able to pull out the axle and the planet gear assembly from the other side. I just noticed these 4 threaded holes. I have no idea what they were used for, but I doubt they were used for a disc brake. And I got the impression that this can screw off somehow. I think I might need a special tool to engage with these 4 screw holes, and maybe then I can unscrew this part of the hub. Yeah, but again, I have no idea what I'm doing here. It's just a guess. So here's a closer look, or as close as I can go with my camera, of what I think is a thread. Still not completely sure, but maybe later I will try and get this out. Maybe put a little bolt in this hole and then use a drift and a hammer. See if I can get this unscrewed. It's probably not the proper way, but yeah, using a hammer, that's my way. Now let's take this out and flip it around and see if I can remove the axle now. You can probably already see it, that the axle is at an angle. And here comes the planet assembly and the axle and some more pawls. Let's have a closer look. But first, here's a close-up from the insides of the hub shell. It's pretty dirty, and some of the ball bearings from back here came flying out. Alright, now let's have a look at the planet gear assembly and the axle. And here's the axle with the planet cage assembly, and unlike a Sturmey Archer, this is locked onto the axle with some circlips here and here. Yeah, I could take this apart, but I'm not going to bother with this for now. Let's try and see if I can stack all of the parts back together, just like a Sturmey Archer cartridge. So here's the axle together with the planet cage, and now the ring gear assembly should fit on top of this, and it does. And now I should reinsert this little pin, this one here, like that. And next is the driver, and it should fit on top of here together with the spring, and of course the ball bearings should go in between here somewhere, but I'm not going to bother with this. I guess this is just for my own personal memory. Now there's this spring and this piece here that should sit on top of this spring. It is also the ball race, and it is a bit worn and rusty. And now on top of this, a lock nut, and I guess that's everything together again. Huh. It's not as simple as a Sturmey Archer cartridge, but it's not all that complicated. I think I got all the footage I need, and this gave me a nice reference on how to take apart the Sachs Torpedo 3-speed hub, assuming it is the same as this Sram 1, but I believe it is. Alright, that's enough. Thanks for watching, and to be continued. And just for fun, here it is next to a Sturmey Archer AW cartridge. This one is definitely easier to assemble, but yeah, you gotta mess with those, well, take care of those stupid little balls. The springs can very easily fall out. The diameter of this Sachs or SRAM 3-speed is smaller, a lot smaller. It also has only 3 planetary gears, while the Sturmey Archer one has 4. I don't know which one is better. They cycle the same as far as I'm concerned. I guess next time I should try and compare it with a Shimano one. So I placed everything back inside the hub shell. That's too tight. And I think that this is nothing more than a dust cover that is being held in place by the cog and the circlip, because I don't see another way. And I did try to unscrew this piece. I actually had a small bolt in here. It's M4 thread, but when I hit it with the hammer and the drift, the hex head, oh no, it was the Allen head of the bolt, it sheared off. And I did heat the whole hub shell up a bit with my little propane torch, and I did try to unscrew it in both directions. First I tried normal right hand thread, and then I tried left hand thread, and that is when I sheared off the head of the bolt. But yeah, it probably is not necessary to unscrew this piece. I guess I will find out the next time when I have apart one of these hubs. For now, I did learn a few things. Now let's try and remember this. And just for fun, the whole cartridge assembly can drop into the hub shell like this, almost as easy as a Sturmey Archer one. I will say that this dust cover design doesn't really impress me all that much. I can actually see the ball bearings here. I was expecting something better from the Germans. But yeah, I guess in this case the English Sturmey Archer design wins.